Good morning and welcome to Get Real with Tracy. So, you want to be an author edition. Boy, do I have a good one for you today. I have been working on the interior layouts of my book. And the reason I chose to do it is I've got 25 years graphic design experience. I have put together many print ready projects over the years, even using Adobe InDesign. So I thought, oh, easy peasy. I can do this myself, save myself a few bucks. I'll just do it and go on with it from there and get published. I'm almost ready to be published. However, I will say that InDesign does have some glitches, and unfortunately, I happen to hit a lot of them. For instance, typically when you do like Adobe Illustrator, you have to create your fonts to outline. Otherwise, when you take them to go to print, if you don't do that, then the font that you use, if the printer does not have that particular font, will be substituted with another font and it will ruin your design. So with Illustrator, you always create outlines. You embed your images as well. So that's the standard protocol that I have been trained under and used. So, you know, I was thinking Adobe InDesign probably uses the same principles as Illustrator. Well, guess what? No, it does not. And is it easy to find out how to embed your fonts? No. And I mean, I searched and searched the internet for that, but I did find the answer. So I'm going to share that with you and save you some heartache because it was driving me crazy. And as people have told me before, it's not a very long drive, just around the corner. So sometimes I don't even get out of the driveway. But I wanted to point out to you in Adobe InDesign, you don't want to embed your images. When you do this thing, there's a feature called package when you are ready to you have your interior pages all lined out. They all line out good. There's no errors in fonts, which let me tell you, I don't know how, but there were a bunch of creepy fonts in there that I didn't use. So you have to use, I'll give you a couple of tips. Use a find and replace feature. And usually when you open a document, sometimes it'll tell you that there's some fonts in there that you need to look at. So say yes to that and take a look at it because it will pull up that find and replace and it will tell you what fonts are in there. So I like to use a sans serif and because it's easier for people to read than with a serif font. A serif is just that little doohickey that at the end of the words just makes it a little bit more difficult for some people to read. I want my book to be fairly easy for people to read. So I chose to use Arial, which is a standard font across the board. So you can find that font feature. What I will use, and I'm just going to tell you to use this instead of, there's other ways you can get it and find that. But if you go to your file section and then scroll down toward the bottom to an option called package. Yes, I know. Package? Who knew? But this is where the fonts will be embedded and your images as well when you get ready to do your document. So my document is set to be black and white interiors. So I already in Photoshop had grayscaled my images that were going in there so that when they're in there, they're going to print in black and white. They're not going to be full color. However, there is a little step that I missed that I had to go back and reopen every of those grayscaled images and I had to save them. I had to change the document. Let me get my Photoshop open. I'll come back and address that. But I had to change them. But in the package design thing part of Adobe InDesign, again, you go to File and then scroll down to Package, and then you pull that document up. You will find that it will give you a summary And that summary will tell you about the whole publication. Sorry that I'm looking to the left. I have a second screen. It will tell you what fonts, how many fonts are used, how many are missing, how many are embedded, and how many are incomplete, and how many are protected. So that's a really good tool to see that. Links and images, it'll tell you how many links are found. And a link is when you place an image, and that's how you get an image in, is through file place, and we'll discuss that in another time. It will link that image from your computer into the document. It tells me that 6 links are found, 0 modified, 0 missing, 0 inaccessible, and images 1 is embedded because I did embed some images because that's what I thought that you were supposed to do. So I'm going to have to go replace that and not embed it in, because if you embed it in, you're going to create a huge document, and that can cause some problems when the printer uses it and goes to print. So what this package does is it will pull all your linked files into a document folder. And so all those files will be found in that folder. So those go to the printer as well. The same with your fonts. With your fonts, what it will do is it will put those fonts into, so to say, embed them into your document. You don't have to create outlines, unless the only time you would want to create outlines, if you maybe did a font, printers don't use it all the time, then you would want to embed it in because you want to hold those outlines. You want it to have that same look and that. But most of the time, fonts that we use anymore are already pretty standard. Unless you choose to use some that are more artistic, then you might run into where you need to create outlines on those. The summary is really good. Then you can click it down below and it will show you your fonts. And so it's showing me that Arial Italic and Arial Regular are what I'm using on my document. So those are good. I don't have any extra fonts in there, and everything's good. It will say the type of font it is. It's open true type. The status is okay, and it's not protected, which is how you want it to have. You want it to say no, not protected. So those are all good. When I get ready to package this, it'll be good to go. And then you look at your links and images. Really, what's key here, down below, it'll list out all the images that are in there. It will tell you the name, the type, the page that it's on, and then the status, and then the ICC profile. You want it set to none, or it could say embedded, which the ones that are embedded are on there that say embedded. So I've got to go change those. And then there's down below, it'll tell you the current link and image. If you highlight on each of those images, it'll tell you more details about it. But below that, there's a little checkbox that says show problems only. And if you click on that, hopefully it comes up empty. If it doesn't come up empty, that tells you there's a problem with that link and you're going to need to go fix it. So that's a really handy little tool. And that's what you want to use when you get ready to go to print. Your final step that you would do is package your document. So you want to make sure that each of your pages are taken care of in that respect. My Photoshop should be up. Let me pull it up. And so I can intelligently talk to you. In my Photoshop, I just pulled up one of my images and I clicked on image and I checked my mode and it says grayscale, which it should be. You do not want it to be RGB color. You want it to be grayscale in color. So what I did, there's features you can use in under images where you could go into adjustments and you can remove or you can make it black and white, which is what I did. That was the problem because it still left it in the RGB, which is red, green, and blue format. When you go to print, most printers use CMYK. And so I had to go back and adjust these and go to mode and then image and then mode and then make sure it was checked to grayscale. And then that removed the RGB, and then that made my Adobe InDesign happy. I could go ahead and print However, when I pulled up my document to see how it came out, there's these funky lines on one of my images. I don't know where they're at. I didn't see them on the image anywhere. So I will have to go in and I will have to pull that image up and just really clear everything around it. Make sure there's not a little hairline line that I missed. Make sure it's all clear. And then I can resave it and replace it. The nice thing about Adobe InDesign is when you go, you click on that image. So I have this problem image that has a line. So once I fix that and I go back in, all I have to do is go to File and Place, find that document I just fixed, that image, click on it, and it will automatically replace it into my page. I don't have to reposition it. I don't have to rescale it or put it in like that. So that's a nice feature if you're having to fix an image. Did the same thing with my grayscales. Had to go replace what I originally had with the new ones, and it fixed the problem. So those are some things that I learned on Adobe InDesign. It was very difficult to find the answers to. A simple answer, oh my goodness, if I could have found that answer days ago, it would have saved me so much heartache and frustration. But no, it was not super easy to find, not even on their help page. I finally, after reading through and coming up with the correct question to ask, then I found the answer to that. So, just a little design tip for you there if you choose to do your own interior pages. Now, my interior pages I did pretty custom because I'm a graphic designer after all. I feel like I need to have a really nice interior layout. There are some programs out there, and including InDesign, where you could get, like I'm going to print with Lulu Direct. So I downloaded their templates, and they actually do have an Adobe InDesign template, which I, may consider using next time because I learned a lot on this go round with Adobe InDesign in creating my masters and how critical and important those are. And if you don't have that done right, it can mess up your document. I learned how to create what they call parent pages now. They used to be called masters, but they're parent pages. In that parent page, you can set your paragraph styles to the font that you want to use for like headings and subheadings in paragraphs and first paragraph. And if you use scripture like I do, a special font with a border around it to highlight the scripture versus your italics. You can set a paragraph style for it. Your footnotes, set a paragraph style for it. Whatever things that you want to do and to stylize the interior of your layout, you need to set these up in your masters. It'll come up with a single page that says none. It doesn't have anything assigned to it. And then a double page spread called A. That's your A parent. And so what I do is set everything up in my A parent. And then after I have that all set up the way that I want it, I will duplicate the parent page. And then I end up with a B master. So the way it lays out is you have a single page up at the top and then your double pages and down below. So however many pages your chapter is. Your single page on the right, it will be the right side of a single page. That is where your chapter should start. I want it always to start on the right-hand side. So I have in my parent page, I have the chapter number up at the top centered and a page number up at the top. You can also put those at the bottom or the page number at the bottom if you prefer. I just preferred to have them all at the top. So that's set there in all my masters. So the chapter title will be above each chapter and the page number will be there as well. Then I have a little graphic artwork there. I have a little border to separate from the chapter number and the contents of the page too, because it just kind of needed that for me. And then I have a little graphic I put in and above the chapter title, and I start the chapter at about 3/4 of the way down the page. It's really easy to move the text box in that, and you can drag and drop your document in from Word and it will auto propagate through the document. Sometimes that feature does not work as it should, and you may have to look. You will have a text box that goes around, and then in the very bottom right corner, if you see a red plus, then you need to click on that and it's going to extend the text. It's telling you there's more text that didn't spread throughout the document. Why it did that, I don't know. And then I think that's where situations came in where I ended up with 2 or 3 text boxes on one page. So you've got to go in and just really look closely with your eyes and delete the extra text boxes so they don't cause any problem when you go to print. So then you get your document all the way through. It'll carry all the paragraph styles that you set. Hopefully you don't have to go back through and do it, but you want to always check. So just highlight portion of the text like the chapter title, the chapter number, the heading, the subheadings, the paragraphs. Make sure they're set to the proper paragraphs. If there's an issue, you will see a little plus sign by the side of, like, say, body paragraph. We'll have a little plus sign. That's indicator that there's an issue. So you can double click on that and pull that up to where you can just check all your settings and make sure they're set correctly. And then you want to also look up at the top. So you'll want to be in your text tool and you'll look up at the top and make sure what's up at the top of your toolbar there tells you, matches up with the other. So that's how you kind of identify when there's issues that you have to fix. And sometimes there's hidden fonts in there you just don't see. There can be hidden characters, and there's features you can do to eliminate those if you still are having a hard time finding those. You go through that, do one chapter at a time, and then after you have all your chapters done together, your introduction, your copyright, and dedications page, your title page. You should have a title page inside. Like at the end of my chapter, I have a prayer that I pray for people. And then I also have a resources page where they can go look at my website for some of the other things that I offer. Like I create coloring books, so they can go look at those as well. You get that whole thing lined out, and then you create a new file, which you create as a book. And then you open that book, and then you add each of these individual files, each individual chapter in the order that you want them into the book. And then in the book thing feature, you go and you package it. I am going to look up, because I think I need to package each chapter before I package the book. So I will let you know on that when I find out. That's been my little design tip for the day on So You Want to Be an Author. And if you are crazy enough like me to think, oh, design my interiors, that'll be easy, there are some programs, like there's Atticus, there's Vellum, Dibbly Create. They all have templates that you can use that are pretty easy for you to put your book into and have it already created in that template, but you're stuck with what they have set for you in that. So hopefully find a style you like and then use that. And that might be a little bit easier for me next time, but I have to get past my graphic designer brain that says, oh, well, I should make mine look better. Less is more. I keep telling myself that less is more. But sometimes, what can I say? But I hope you found this helpful. I hope that it will help you as well, and you'll avoid some of the frustration that I ran into, be able to find the answers more quickly. And if you have any questions, please ask in the comments and I'll do my best to try and find the answer for you. But I just want to thank you for your time. Thank you for following me. I hope you're finding this information helpful. Share it with your friends. And please like and subscribe so I can get better algorithms and really get my channel launched. It's hard when you're starting out. You really need the help of everyone to come alongside you and help you build this channel. So thank you so much. May God bless you, and may you be blessed in your writing adventures. I pray that you will have a good experience. It's a challenge and it's hard, which is why I'm doing this blog, is to just help people understand, oh, there's a lot more to it than just writing a book. And hopefully you'll learn from the mistakes that I make and they'll help you. So you have a great day. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.